Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. Coming up this week, we're going to tell you the poll results from a recent poll that we did on DVCFan.com about the best DVC resort for families. Coming up next. The DVC Show is brought to you by DVCStore.com. You can save thousands of dollars by purchasing your DVC contract with DVC Store. Let their resale experts help welcome you home. And by DisBoards.com. If you want to learn everything you'll ever need to know about Disney Vacation Club, visit the DVC forums on DisBoards.com and join in the conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends from the DVC Store, Mr. Jerry Saito.
Hello.
Joining us via Skype, Mr. Pete Shidley.
Hi, everybody.
And back on the controls, the newest DVC member in the group, Mr. Corey Fiascanaro.
Welcome home.
Is that going to be a little thing?
For this show, I was talking to Haley because I think I said it on a Disneyland show or something like that. She's like, don't say it on the Disneyland show. Just say it on the DVC show. Well, okay, fine.
It's nice to have a wife tell you when you're, screwing up. Well, welcome, folks. Hope you're having a good week. Well, it's only Monday for you. It's Monday for us right now, too. So, if you are having a good week, there's plenty of time for that to go wrong. Want to give a shout-out to our friends over, I don't want to burn myself with hot wax, our friends over at Magic Candle Company. We are burning the contemporary candle in the studio this week. It is my favorite. It's up there with, contemporary, Polynesian, and their Very Vero, which is one they came out with a couple of months ago, are my top three that I'm going to burn on a regular basis. African Lodge, too, is another great fragrance. MagicCandleCompany.com, they are a supporter of the DIS. Use code DisneyInfo to get 15% off. And I can see the tail of Pete's cat. Either that or
hello there.
Or people have been asking me where she's at. She's actually usually on my lap. But
what's her name?
I think she really likes Pete's voice because every time we start a show, she jumps up on my lap. So.
Aww. What's her name?
This is Julia.
Julia. And Fiasco is a new cat a cat person.
That's right. It was mostly Haley's. She was adamant that we get this cat, and now that we got her home, she's an absolute sweetheart. But her name is Yuki. She's a tabby. She was rescued behind a dumpster at Chipotle, and the people who found her named her Chipotle, and we were just like, no, that's not gonna stick. So we renamed it Yuki. After the
noise you make when you throw up the food.
No. It's the name of a cat that's in the creators of Spirited Away. It's a cat from one of his movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that was more information than I wanted. I'm kidding. Okay, so yeah, burning contemporary, but they got a lot of DVC fragrances over at Magic Candle Company. So MagicCandleCompany.com, code DisneyInfo saves you 15%. All right, so about a month and a half ago, I put a poll up on DVCFan.com, which is our blog, and we asked the best DVC resort for families. Now, we had done one previously, best overall DVC resort, and that was kind of interesting, the response that we got to that. But I wanted to see, now if we're just asking about for families, because that comes up a lot, which one do you think? Now, I'm not going to go through, I will eventually go through all of them, but I want to focus right now on the top 5, because we'd be here for 3.5 hours.
Right.
But number 5, I think this kind of surprised me. But then when I heard the response from people and why they picked it, because a lot of people gave reasons why they picked it, it made sense. But number 5 with 8%, there were 1,444 responses to this, by the way. 8% of them chose Old Key West.
I think Okie West should be on the top 5. I mean, it's a great resort. It's tranquil. It's serene.
I agree.
The rooms are huge.
I agree. I think it's fantastic. But that was the reason why it got a lot of people picked it, because of the size of the rooms. I was recently in one of the newly renovated one-bedroom.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice.
But here's my problem. Every time I'm in a resort, I'm like, oh man, I should have bought here. Like it's every single one of them. But the newly designed rooms, absolutely gorgeous, and the space in those one bedrooms.
Yeah, I think what's nice about Okie West is that it gives you a break. I mean, you're at Disney World. There's a ton of things to do. You're near things within that. If you're at Okie West, you're within a few miles of all of the attractions. But it gives you a break. Like you can go and relax by the pool, spend the quality time with your family, be in a big villa. Make a nice dinner if you want to in those 1 and 2 bedroom villas or 3 bedroom. So I think it gives you that like space for family time.
Well, and these were also the first. This was the first DVC resort ever built. This was the original. And so that's part of why, back in the early 90s, they were still building somewhat larger rooms. But I also love the layout of the 1, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom units. That open kitchen design, not the galley kitchen. They went to the galley kitchen when they did Boardwalk, which was the second one. And so the open design of the kitchen, very similar to what they're doing actually at, I noticed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, those 1 bedroom units, they had that similar open kitchen design.
Yeah.
Bay Lake Tower has that design. I prefer that over the other ones, over the galley kitchens. But so Pete, are you surprised? Old Key West at number 5?
I was a little surprised that it was in the top 5, but I do know that Old Key West has a lot of very heartfelt fans that really love that resort. So in that respect, it doesn't surprise me, and it also I didn't read through the poll, so it doesn't surprise me that one of the main reasons is the room size there, because I do know that it has that larger room. I think it feels, because in my mind, I'll be honest, I haven't stayed at Old Key West yet. In my mind, I kind of put it with
Cut his
Saratoga
feed. Cut his mic.
Cut
his mic.
Go?
No, I'm joking. I'm saying you haven't stayed at Old Key West. Cut his mic. Cut his feed. How could you not have stayed at Old Key West?
No, I want to. In fact, we just added a night for next February, and I added that night at Old Key West just so we can check it out, because we haven't been there before.
You're going to I guarantee you'll come back and you'll say, I wish I had more nights here.
Yeah, and I think everywhere I hear, or everybody says how it's, I think it's just a more friendly atmosphere. Saratoga Springs is just so sprawling and everything like that. And not that Old Key West isn't big, but I think the design of the resort, I think everybody feels really, they say welcome home. I think it feels very homey to people.
Well,
and I think when you're there with family, that's what people are connecting to.
Well, part of it, yeah, now Old Key West is sprawling as well. I mean, it's not quite as sprawling. Nothing is quite as sprawling as Saratoga Springs, but Old Key West is a lot of buildings. There's a lot, it's kind of spread out, but it's hub, the
hospitality house.
The hospitality house, Olivia's, the restaurant, Gurgling Suitcase, which is the resort bar, the community hall, the kids' play area, the pool, all of that, all right in one area. That's not the case at Saratoga. Those things are even kind of spread out a bit, and the pool is,
a trek or a hike, depending on where you are. Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too. All right, number 4 on the list with 9% of the vote was Bay Lake Tower, and the main reason for this, not hard to imagine.
Location, right?
Location, proximity to Magic Kingdom when you've got kids. Now, I don't have kids, thank God, but I don't have kids, but for me, it's the proximity to, I think they're beautiful. I think I'm not a huge fan of the architecture of it, like the architecture of the building itself, because it reminds me, and I put this in a blog I wrote, that it reminds me of the Watergate Tower in Washington. It looks just like it. But the room, the 1 bedroom I was in, was absolutely stunning, absolutely gorgeous. And it felt like I had a one-bedroom apartment, 5-minute walk from the Magic Kingdom. There was something about that experience that really spoke to me.
It's awesome because if you want to get into the park early, you can easily walk over. You don't have to worry about the monorail transportation, which you have access to, but it's just so much easier to walk. You don't have to worry about the ferry or a bus. Like, you can just get in there and you can get out of there quickly. So it's super convenient. Plus, you know, if you're looking out the window, you got a theme park view. Some of the standard views even have it, but you can look and see the Magic Kingdom. I mean, you're coming to Disney World for that experience, and you look out the window and you see it. I mean, that's a memory your kids will remember forever.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that this made the list at all. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that it's not higher. That proximity to Magic Kingdom for families with kids and everything like that is just, you can't beat it. But from a personally, Bay Lake Tower doesn't necessarily speak to me. It's got like a little bit of a corporate vibe. I was in the corporate world for a little bit. It's kind of like, it's not my style. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but Bay Lake is still, you cannot beat that view and also that walk. You can't beat it.
Yeah. No, exactly. Now, so Okie West with 8%, Bay Lake Tower with 9%. Coming in third with 11% was the Polynesian. And I think this is a combination of monorail, on the monorail loop, you know, nice and close to the Magic Kingdom. But also that pool there is a big draw.
Both pools are really nice, you know. One's the member pool, I guess, and the other's the...
And I have to assume that, you know, because Grand Floridian on this list, also on the monorail, also with a pretty cool pool, only garnered 2% of the vote. It was number 11 out of 14 resorts.
Well, I think this one is, the theming is probably the appeal too, right? Because I think for younger kids, you get there and it's this, I've traveled across the world to Polynesia, and I'm the land of Moana and Lilo and Stitch, and that volcano pool, and you take that slide that goes through the volcano itself, and then they have that play area right next to it, the splash area with all the tikis and everything like that. I think if you're coming with kids, it's easy to see why that's a popular choice.
Yeah, not to mention, like, you've got a view of the fireworks. If you're just walking the grounds, not necessarily from your room, but the property itself, you could see the fireworks from the property.
Yeah.
The tiki torches at night, and just the Polynesian music and the flowers and the lava rock everywhere. I mean, it's just a great place to be.
I have to say, I got a chance to see the rooms. Fiasco actually got a chance to stay. Now, these are all deluxe studios. There's no 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. It's one longhouse, I believe, right?
They've got
two longhouses.
Two longhouses.
Two longhouses that are designated for DVC. They converted these rooms into DVC rooms, and they're beautiful. Yeah. The rooms are absolutely beautiful. And Fiasco had a theme park view.
Yeah.
They call it Lake View, but that's the only lake there.
Yeah.
Bay Lake, or Seven Seas Lagoon, I think that is.
Right, Seven Seas Lagoon, yeah.
And a view of the fireworks that was breathtaking.
Oh yeah, and so I'm no expert on DVC rooms. I've stayed or been inside probably a total of 6 or 7 at this time. This was the bed aside, which I'll talk about. The nicest studio that I've been in, the nicest one. The bed was not nearly as comfortable as like the bed I had at Saratoga, or even the bed I had at Beach Club, but the room itself was, in my opinion, the nicest. And also, yeah, that view, unbelievable. One thing I will say, they didn't pipe in the Happily Ever music close to the room, which I wish they did.
But don't you tune in on the television?
I don't think they do. I know they do it at the restaurant at Ohana's where you can hear it, but
no.
But the rooms themselves.
You have to.
I think Bay Lake is the only one that does that.
No, Okay, I don't know, but usually
we'd heard that, but when we were there, we couldn't figure out how to get the music in the room either. So I'm not sure if they do at that location. or not.
I think it's just Bay Lake because there's a delay, because the way how far the fireworks have to travel. So I think they just do it at Bay Lake. I think.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
they played at the beach, and you could hear it coming from like the concierge club. You could hear the music coming from that too when we were outside, but in the rooms themselves, it didn't seem like they did. But I agree with what Corey's saying. We stayed there, and the rooms are, for a studio, they're a little more spacious. They have the 2 bathrooms set up.
Right.
One bathroom having the rain shower, and the other with the tub and the toilet, which is really nice if you have 2 or 3 kids with you, that everybody can get ready in the morning a little easier. So I would say that's an advantage too. If you can only afford a studio, they're a little more pricey studios, but they give you more.
Right. Now, 5 Old Key West, 8%, 4 Bay Lake Tower, 9%, 3 Polynesian, 11%. They're all kind of bunched together there. Now, at number 2, this is where they start separating from the pack. Beach Club Villas. I was very surprised that Beach Club came in at number 2. I would have thought it would have come in at number 1, but it didn't. But it did garner 19% of the vote. And again, I can't assume that it's proximity to Epcot with kids. That matters to parents more than it matters to kids. But Beach Club has Stormalong Bay, which is not even arguably the best pool on Disney property, right? This is a pool shared between Yacht Club and Beach Club, the Lazy River, the Sand Bottom Pool, the Cool Slide.
The kiddie pool, which is its own little beach and a foot deep. Yeah. Great for little ones. So,
yeah, exactly. So you've got little ones.
Yeah, and my son loves it. The Beach Club is amazing. I am surprised it came in at number 2, but when we get to number 1,
it kind of makes sense because number one is number one by a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also thought it was going to be number 1 for exactly those reasons. The pool, and which you can literally, spend the day at the pool, not go to the parks, and your kids are as happy as they would be at the parks. And also proximity to not just Epcot, but Hollywood Studios, a very short boat ride.
Right.
Maybe a little too long to walk with kids, but still not far away. And then also I want to, throw out the boardwalk area is not too far away, and there's some fun stuff there for the kids. You got the games, you got the Surrey bikes. You always see parents with their kids, the dads pumping those bikes around the around the lake while the kids aren't pedaling in the back.
I still think it's more. I still think that area is more appealing to adults. Between its proximity to Epcot, even Hollywood Studios. I don't think Hollywood Studios is overly. I mean, with Toy Story Land now, maybe a little bit more. But I think and the boardwalk, you've got the Abracadabra, you've got Jelly Rolls, you've got some real good signature dining over there. So
they do also have the jugglers and the entertainers that they provide, which is kind of cool for kids, But
I think really the pool ultimately is going to be
the pool. I agree. Yeah,
is going to be the big draw there. Yeah. So, which brings us to number 1 on our list. Again, I love this resort. I'm not surprised that it's number 1, but I'm kind of surprised. With 23% of the vote, Animal Kingdom Lodge Villas.
Yep.
And it comes down to one word: Savannah.
Yeah.
The Savannah, right? This resort has a freaking zoo.
Exactly.
Has a freaking zoo, and nothing is going to engage your kids more, I think.
Well, it's almost very similar to these other resorts where they have the great pools, they've got entertainment, they've got restaurants, they've got all these things, except they don't have a zoo. Where if you're staying in Animal Kingdom, you look in the backyard or just walk to your room from the lobby.
I always felt that the pool there was pretty generic, but a lot of people love that pool.
Have you seen Kidani's pool?
No.
Oh, Kidani, it's a smaller pool, but for the kids, it's like at a splash pad. It's got a whole little fun zone. Kidani's pool is amazing for young kids.
Yeah, Kidani's pool is better for kids from a things to do point. The slide is better, and you mentioned the splash pad. What I think is nice about the Uzima pool at Jambo, though, is its size.
Right.
so big that you go in there and it's not like everybody's right on top of you. You have the space to play with your kids and not feel like you're getting another kid thrown on top of you. And for all the poly, how cool that pool is, it's not that big. I mean, the time we were there, we went in there a couple times, and it seemed like it was like wall-to-wall people. And at Animal Kingdom Lodge, I never feel like that. I always feel like there's enough space to have some space of my own, and that might appeal to parents too. And they got a nice wide, what do you call it, the zero entry area.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good areas in that pool for kids.
Well, I think absolutely Animal Kingdom Lodge kind of hits both markets. It's great for kids. It's got a lot of really strong selling points for kids. Has a lot of strong selling points for adults. Again, I think personally, Animal Kingdom Lodge, food and beverage, best on Disney property, period. Full stop. Best on Disney property. So you've got a lot of great dining options, especially, that really undiscovered gem in Sanaa over in Kidani Village. You've got, it's just it's a resort that is entertaining by itself,
Right.
without theme parks, without anything else. If you're going to do a resort-only stay, like the first one that comes to my mind that I'd want to do that at would be Animal Kingdom Lodge. So,
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom...
And the only reason I was surprised that it came in first was because, I mean, it came in, I think it came in first also on the resort-only poll, and that makes a lot of sense to me. But it is a long way from the parks and a really long way from Magic Kingdom. So that made it, to me, a little surprised that it was number
That's
one.
got to tell you, though, how good a resort it is.
Right.
Yeah.
That it is
Right.
so far from a theme park. It is so far from the Magic Kingdom. Yet, and this isn't even close here.
Right.
19% for Beach Club, 23% for Animal Kingdom Lodge.
The way I see it for Animal Kingdom Lodge, if you took any of the Disney resorts and took them off property, they're not a Disney resort anymore. They're just their own standalone resort. Animal Kingdom Lodge would be standalone, the best performing resort out of all of them.
Hands down.
Because of how much, not only is it a zoo, like you have the Savannah and that, like you mentioned, the dining options, they have so many good dining options. A lot of times you go to a resort and maybe you have one or two dining options that you're really interested in. There's like 4 at Animal Kingdom, and their quick service, the Mara, I think among quick service is a hidden gem. It's really good.
It's great.
And Jico is ridiculous. I can't wait to go back to Jico.
My last couple of experiences at Jico have been very good, but they knew I was there.
Yeah.
In fact, we were trying to do dining reviews, and we couldn't because they knew we were there. And I won't review it if I've been flagged. So, but not the case at Boma, which, in terms of just buffet, you can't beat it. It's unbelievable how good it is. And you talk about the Mara, the quick service location, phenomenal. So I agree. But we got to wrap this up. I do want to talk about, just go through the list of the other ones and where they fell. Boardwalk came in at number 6. It was very close to Old Key West on 7%. This one impressed me. Alani, number 7 at 6%. The reason that impressed me, a lot of DVC members haven't been there. A lot of DVC members have not been to Alani.
Myself included.
And I'm going to tell you what, because you look at some of the ones, when we get to the ones that are at the bottom of the list, part of the reason they're at the bottom of the list, a lot of people haven't been there.
Right.
And I think Alani falls into that category. But yet it is at number 7 on the list. And I'm going to tell you what, if more DVC members have go to Alani, that number will change. Because I don't think the Kids Club, Annie's Beach House, holy crap! I want to go hang out there. That's how cool this place is. The pool, no, we have nothing. Stormalong Bay is a puddle compared to the pool at Alani. The resort itself is absolutely amazing. You think the Poly's great? The Poly is a caricature of Hawaii and Polynesia, whereas Aulani is the real deal. So number 7, I think, is impressive. I think the more people go out to see it and experience it, the higher that number will go. Number 8, Copper Creek at 5%. Boulder Ridge and Saratoga Springs tying in the number 9 position at 3% apiece. I think they separated by about 2 votes. Number 11, Grand Floridian Villas with 2%. Grand Californian with 1%. Hilton Head and Vero Beach also with 1% round out the rest of the 14 resorts. And again, Grand Californian, Hilton Head, Vero Beach, a lot of DVC members. Well, Grand Californian you can't experience because if you don't own there, you're not staying there. Hilton Head and Vero Beach, not in the...
People buy DVC to go to to go to the Orlando World Disney World. So I think if people do go to Vero, do go to Hilton Head, they would have an incredible experience.
I need to go check them out.
Yeah, they're great resorts. Great resorts.
But there you have it. That's the results of our poll on the best DVC resorts for families, and that will do it for this episode of the DVC Show. We'll see you again next week.